Hello everyone, my name is Saugat Pandey, a PhD candidate from Washington University in St. Louis. I'm a part of Visual Data Analysis Group under Dr. Alvitta Ottley. Today I'll be presenting our paper titled Mini-VLAT, a short and effective measure of visualization literacy. In today's data-driven world, the ability to communicate complex information quickly and effectively is more important than ever. Data visualizations have emerged as a powerful tool for achieving this goal. By presenting data in a visually compelling way, they make it easier to understand and communicate important insights to others. Whether you are working in business, academia, or any other field that relies on data, data visualization can help you to communicate your findings with clarity and impact. The democratization of data has opened up new opportunities for businesses, journalists, and individuals to make sense of the world around us. Visualization technologies have played a key role in this transformation, providing powerful tools for creating visualization that are both informative and engaging. With a range of tools like Microsoft Excel, Plotly, and Tableau at our fingertips, we can leverage the power of data visualization to communicate complex information more effectively than ever before. However, it's not just enough to create data visualization. It's equally important to have the skills and the knowledge to interpret and extract information from them. And this is where the concept of visualization literacy comes in. Visualization literacy is the ability and skill to read and interpret visually represented data and extract information from data visualization. As data becomes increasingly omnipresent and complex, it is essential for researchers, businesses, and individuals to have a good understanding of visualization literacy in order to effectively communicate insights and make informed decisions. Over the past few years, there has been a growing interest in investigating visualization literacy within the InfoVis community. Recently, at a Viz meetup, researchers came together to discuss the creation of more effective tests for measuring visualization literacy. One key point that emerged was the need for a short yet reliable test that could be used on a wider scale to access general population's ability to read and interpret visualization. To address this need, we focused on the most commonly used test for measuring visualization literacy in the InfoVis field called VLAT. VLAT is a widely used tool for measuring visualization literacy, and it consists of 53 multiple choice questions across 12 data visualization types. While it provides a comprehensive assessment, its length is also a limitation. With a maximum completion time of 22 minutes, it may deter some potential participants and limit the researcher's ability to investigate visualization literacy on a larger scale. Moreover, taking a long test like this can require significant cognitive effort, which may cause fatigue and errors in the answer. So it is important to consider these factors when designing future studies on visualization literacy. So in order to address the limitation of VLAT, we decided to create a more efficient and practical test for measuring visualization literacy. So our research goal was to develop a brief and practical test for measuring visualization literacy that can be used on a wider scale. And that's where Mini-VLAT comes in. So after recognizing the limitation of VLAT, we created a shorter and more efficient version called Mini-VLAT. By reducing the number of questions while maintaining the same level of rigor, we were able to achieve comparable reliability and validity to that of VLAT. Mini-VLAT offers a more streamlined and accessible way to access visualization literacy, which enables researchers to study users' ability on larger scale without the burden of a lengthy test. So now let's take a closer look at the Mini-VLAT test. The Mini-VLAT consists of 12 multiple choice questions across 12 common data visualization types. So now let's take a look at the 12 common data visualization types we have in the Mini-VLAT. These are the 12 common data visualization in the Mini-VLAT, and these are similar to that of VLAT. Just like VLAT, we selected unique dataset for each visualization. For example, global smartphone market share for pie chart, internet speed for bar chart, or Tokyo Olympic 2020 dataset for the visualization type called 100% stack bar. These visualizations were taken from 3 different sources. The first one is K-12 curriculums, where the authors of VLAT reviewed several states like California, New York, and Indiana and their mathematical standards. The second one is visualization authoring tools like D3JS, Excel, Plotly. The third one is the news articles like New York Times and Washington Post, where visualization are mainly used. After this, visualization that were listed at least in 2 of these sources were considered in the final test. Based on this, a total of 12 common visualizations were selected. Similar to that of VLAT, we set a time limit of 25 seconds for each question, which makes Mini-VLAT a 5-minute long test. This makes Mini-VLAT a more efficient and practical tool for researchers who need to measure visualization literacy on a larger scale. For scoring, we used a method called correction for guessing formula, which assumes that there's always a guessing involved in multiple choice items. Therefore, for correct response, the participant gets 1 point. However, for wrong answers, there's a penalty of 0.33 for question with 4 options and -1 for question with 2 options. So in Mini-VLAT, there are a total of 9 4-option items and 3 2-option items. So while the scoring method used in the Mini-VLAT ensure fairness in measuring visualization literacy, we also had to consider the trade-off involved in creating a shorter test. Inevitably, a shorter version will produce a less complete test, and to create an abbreviated test that can be used in a wide range of non-expert settings, we carefully weighted the trade-off between the number of visualization types and the visualization task associated with each visualization. We chose to maintain the diversity of the visualization types to produce a reliable and valid test. In order to create an effective short version, we followed a rigorous procedure consisting of test item selection, piloting and item refinement, reliability evaluation, showing a strong correlation between Mini-VLAT and VLAT, and testing Mini-VLAT's predictive capacity. This ensures that Mini-VLAT produces a comprehensive assessment of visualization literacy, even with fewer questions. So we started with replicating VLAT, where we recruited total 199 test takers from Prolific. Similar to VLAT, we only recruited native English speakers since the questions were in English. We then selected 12 items for the Mini-VLAT based on these 2 factors: item total correlation and content validity evaluation. Using item total correlation, we selected the item with the highest item total correlation for each visualization type, resulting in a total of 12 questions for Mini-VLAT. A high item correlation allows for a greater differentiation between high and low scorers in the test. For example, in this case of pie chart, we have 3 questions taken from VLAT. We chose the first one since it has the highest item total correlation and it can distinguish well between the high scorers and the low scorers in the test. For content validity evaluation, we invited 5 visualization experts who validated our selection of 12 questions for Mini-VLAT. So in content validity evaluation, all the 5 experts or all the 5 visualization experts were from academia who verified our items, whether the items were suitable for Mini-VLAT or not. To compute the validity based on the expert rating for each item in the Mini-VLAT, we used content validity ratio, and the result was a ratio of 0.6, and this would mean that the test items are suitable for Mini-VLAT, and they measures the ability to read and interpret data visualization. Now that we have 12 items selected from VLAT and validated by the experts, we conducted a pilot study among 15 participants to ensure that the test takers understood the phrases and vocabularies in the question. During the pilot study, 8 of the participants reported difficulty interpreting some of the question, and 5 of the participants were not familiar with the term exit poll in the visualization type 100% stacked bar. Here's an example of the 100% stacked bar plot taken from the pilot study. Apart from the unfamiliarity of the term exit poll, questions like this can induce bias and influence user response due to their prior political belief or attitude towards a political party. So we decided to update the question and data set used in creating the visualization using D3JS. We also used colorblind safe colors using color brewers and changed the exit poll dataset to Tokyo Summer Olympic dataset. So these are the 12 questions that were finalized and were included in the Mini-VLAT. And apart from selecting the items for Mini-VLAT, we also calculated the reliability related evidence. For this, we used a very common method called McDonald reliability coefficient omega, and the value was 0.72. This indicates that most variation in scores among the test takers is due to their variation in their skill and not the random errors. And scores on the test are consistent and reproducible. We perform further validation steps in creating Mini-VLAT apart from just inviting visualization experts to validate our selections. One of the important steps in creating a short and effective test is to show that it strongly correlates with the original test. For this, we computed the correlation between the scores on Mini-VLAT and VLAT, and for this we recruited a total of 30 test takers from Prolific and asked them to do both Mini-VLAT and VLAT in a randomized order. After analyzing the participant scores on Mini-VLAT and VLAT, we noticed a strong positive correlation between the scores, and this shows that Mini-VLAT is at least as valid as that of VLAT. Finally, we validated whether Mini-VLAT sufficiently measures someone's ability to read and understand visualization, and a widely accepted approach is concurrent validity, which involves evaluating the predictive capacity of a test score against an independent assessment. So for this, we used P-Light, which was developed by Firat et al., and it measures individuals' ability to read and interpret polar coordinate plots. So we looked at the correlation between the Mini-VLAT scores and the user's ability to read and understand unfamiliar visualization, and in this case, it is polar coordinate plot. So we started with recruiting 27 test takers on Prolific who were not familiar with polar coordinate plot. First, we asked them to answer the 12 question on Mini-VLAT, and then we provided them with an online tutorial on how to read and interpret data in polar coordinate plot. After the tutorial, we asked them to do the questions in P-Light, and we noticed a positive significant correlation of 0.62 between the scores on Mini-VLAT and P-Light. This outcome demonstrates a favorable correlation between the Mini-VLAT scores and the user's ability to read and understand unfamiliar visualization. So far we have introduced a short and effective test for measuring visualization literacy and their rigorous methodology used in creating one. Using Mini-VLAT, we can get a better understanding on the visualization literacy of the general population or target population, which can help designers and researchers to design and evaluate effective visualization system depending on the scores on the test. In addition, it can be a good source to improve overall visualization literacy through educational and training experiences. As we move forward, we hope to understand the visualization literacy of participants from different demographics, especially to those who are not typically considered in InfoVis research. To support this goal, we have created an offline version of Mini-VLAT that can be used in classroom settings or places where internet connection is not stable. You can download the offline version by scanning this QR code. And furthermore, given the effectiveness of Mini-VLAT, we plan to translate into multiple languages to reach a wider audience and gain a better understanding of visualization literacy across different cultures and demographics. Given that we have several visualization literacy tests available measuring visualization literacy, it is evident that it is a multidimensional construct. While Mini-VLAT is an effective tool for measuring some aspect of visualization literacy, there is still much work to be done to develop more comprehensive measures. We look forward to continuing our research in this area and creating more effective tests in the future. In conclusion, we hope that Mini-VLAT will be a valuable tool for researchers to measure visualization literacy in a more efficient and practical manner. If you're interested in learning more about our research and detailed procedures behind Mini-VLAT, please check out our paper. I would also like to express my gratitude to Melanie, Bumchul, and Sanghi for their valuable contribution to this project. Thank you for your attention.